Upcoming chat.
Today I have one of my friends and colleagues, Michal Napora. Is
Hello.
not only a social media extraordinaire, also a video game marketer, and it's the founder of 3233, a marketing company dedicated solely to video games, right?
That's correct. I can confirm this is all true.
It's
and
all true.
factual.
Awesome.
Yes. Hello.
Michal, if you want to tell, I gave that little intro so people knows who you are, but you can probably tell us a little more about what you've been doing for the last couple of years. And
Well, I've been doing video games. So I specialize in that. About 3 years ago, I set up my first company, and it's a two-man show at the moment. It's called 3233. And yeah, I'm in video games. I love doing video games. I see the world of video games is changing constantly. I see the world of marketing is changing constantly. Sometimes I feel like I don't know anything, but it's awesome. It's challenging. It just moves so quickly, and yeah, I feel like I'm learning all the time. So
you're
I'm
not
a lucky
alone.
man.
You're not alone because, like you said, marketing is changing way so much. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, specific in the social media area, is nowadays brands and companies, they want to find their voice. They want to find the way they talk so can relate to the right people, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a process you probably have to go through because you're not only doing one game. I mean, from the games I know, you've done Dying Light, The Following, Dying Light 2, Bad Blood, Etherborn, Aragami, which is one of my favorites for sure. And and my question directly is how you figure out how to talk to all the different people, because after all, they're different customers or different targets for each game. I mean, they're different. So how you figure out how to talk to these people?
Sure. Just a quick little clarification. Dying Light 2, I just helped like a little tiny bit, so I don't feel bad for including myself in there. But the people working on it are all my friends, so yeah, like good luck to them. But yeah, in terms of voice, I guess for me, like I feel social media or the way you communicate is kind of like an extension of your product. So I always feel like it's not about selling features or, selling, all right, do this, buy that. It's more about like an extension or trying to set up a state of mind. So when someone sees like a little bit of communication from you and they really go, oh yeah, like they get a feeling, maybe it's a funny feeling. Like you go, maybe you have a product that's, I don't know, about comedian store. I don't know what you could sell in a comedian store, but you would go, all right, this is a happy place to come to. So you would try to have that tone of voice too. So you sell the state of mind on social, the same that you would have, I guess, through your product.
And when you prepare for specific games, do you go through meetings with the marketing team? Do they tell you like, look, our game has to be serious or funny or happy or sad?
Yeah, we do. It is actually quite funny. Like, so I guess we as marketers, we go through it, we go, all right, so this game, it's gonna be serious. Look, Dying Light was a perfect example. When we first started communicating with people, we're like, okay, Dying Light, it's gonna be serious. It's not one of those disco zombie slashers, it's scary, it's like you're gonna feel really, oh my God, I feel tension, this is serious. And that's the messages that we're bringing up before the game came out. But as soon as the game hit the shelves and people started playing it, we've actually noticed that people are playing it not because they're scared or because, it's a survival horror. People are playing it because it's fun and there's an action element to it and you can run around and do crazy shit. And all of a sudden we went, all right, well, you know what? Maybe that's what we thought in our heads. But as soon as the product or the game reaches, the consumer's hands or the gamer's hands, they're the ones that tell you what they think the game is, and they're the ones that drive the narrative. So
you adapt, right? So
exactly.
That's something I think companies they try to stick to such a no, we don't do that, or we don't talk that way, or we don't do these things. And by the way, I just wanted to, for the records, that I worked with Michal in Dying Light, which is a great experience. One of my first video game I ever done, and it was amazing. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I remember, and I remember specifically, that we got the sort of order from the top, guys, we're going to raise the price of the game. And this is something I remember, and it was a great example of how to turn or how to connect to the people. And I remember always that, we got that order. the price of the game is going high, even though the game was out for a long time already. So
Yes.
we were like, but why? I mean, nobody would like that.
Yes.
And basically for the marketing team was like, well, you figure out, you marketing, you had to pass the message. But I remember that we did something that was very weird for them, which was to announce the raise of the price before
Yes.
the raise. So we said, look, guys, it's not in our hands, but the game is going to be like more expensive very near in 2 weeks or whatever. So you better go and buy it now. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a moment for me that it made a lot of sense because you were the voice of Dying Light in social.
Yes.
And when you took the role of announcing those things, people trusted almost straight away. They were like, nobody said like, nah, this is a trick so we buy more stuff. People trusted your voice. People trusted the way like, just go ahead and do this because this is going to happen.
I remember that when we did that. I actually was looking at it a couple of weeks ago, and I remember what was really cool about it was we're actually being quite honest. We were like, look, we're going to raise the price of this because, production, it's gone a bit higher than what we expected, and we're giving you something really, really cool. It's not going to be a little small thing. It's going to be huge. And I remember what we did, which people really, really loved, was the fact that we said to them, look, this is going to happen, but it's not going to happen for a month. So we're giving you some time. If you want to buy the game at a cheaper price, you can do it now, or, prepare that in a few weeks, it's going to go
It'll be a little higher. Yeah. But it was that, to me, that was a very defining moment of finding the voice. Because I don't know if people really trusted the message or trusted you as the voice. And I remember people interacting with you, not as just, I never felt that the company was like Bethesda or like, I don't know, like companies that they're evil, like Blizzard, like people think, oh, they're evil companies. At that time, Techland they didn't have a real image of what kind of company it was, but you gave that voice to Dying Light, being like, oh, they're cool, they're just gamers behind the game. They're just people behind the game.
Yeah, and I don't think it was just me that did it. Like, it was a amalgamation of different things. Like, before Dying Light, I feel Techland didn't have the best of reputations. They had Dead Island that came out.
Yeah.
Which was a cool game, but it was very buggy. But, it had soul, I guess. So Techland kind of had that image with them, like, the image of a company is being carried.
Company,
Yeah, and the image of your company gets carried by the last product that you released. So with Dying Light, I guess, we carried the sort of what Dead Island was, the thoughts that people had. But we decided to, change that perception. And I think it was really cool because there was no meddling from the top in terms of the ideas that we were doing. And
yeah, we had a bit of freedom in there.
Exactly, in execution. And what's really cool is, I can't remember who it was. I think it was some Chinese wise man who said, like, if you being romantic is all about trying to expose yourself a little bit. So, you leave yourself vulnerable. So I guess, I don't know, that's why maybe if you, make something for your wife, like shitty carving of something, you go, have a look at this, I hope you love this, it came from the heart.
Yeah, because I've never done it before.
Exactly. Like, instead of opening yourself up here, I think that's what we did as well with our communication, like, I remember we did things like, look, we're going to give out some free things for you, like free outfits and DLCs. I remember we did this trailer made up of people reviews, of like funny reviews. They were like,
I remember that, yeah.
So they would like leave out little comments like, wow, here's a game where you can have a cigarette in front of a no smoking sign, And I'm like, oh, this is sick. We need to put this in our video, So we recreated this whole scene. And I remember we did a lot of stupid stuff, romantic things to kind of go, like, we're not perfect, but we love you guys. So, here's a little something for you. And I think people can see that. I think people can feel whatever when someone's trying to do something for someone out of the kindness of their heart. And I know this sounds very hallmarky, maybe even like I'm going to puke, but I think it's true. Like, I think if you do something genuinely for people, just say, look, I don't want anything out of this. I'm just doing this because I like you, or you're a good human being. Here, I'm making a fool of myself, or I'm giving something to you for free, or please just take this gift. I think people appreciate this. And if you do it on a regular basis, people go, all right, so these guys or these folks, they're actually pretty cool people, you know? So when you do come out later on with a message that's not really cool to say, like, we're going to raise the price, I think it's easier for these two people to swallow and go, okay, well, they did all these great things for me in the past. Sometimes, you know, there are circumstances outside of their hands. So we'll say, all right, you guys are still cool. We'll accept this.
And I mean, that level of trust is what companies are probably looking for all the time. It's just the matter of, oh, they're cool people, so I'll trust them. Now, in the case, for example, when you have things like Dying Light, right? You're the voice of a very violent and fun game. But then you have Etherborn, which is like a super cute and magical game. Mm-hmm. So how much of yourself you put in there, and how much of, or how you divide being Michal Napora for Dying Light to be the same Michal Napora for Etherborn, for example?
Well, first up, I only promote games which I think I would play or like myself. Because that just makes the job a lot easier. If I take something which I don't like, it's just going to be like trying to pass a kidney stone, you know? It's going to be painful, it's going to be long, and there's going to be a lot of screaming involved. So if I just take something which I think, you know, I'm going to play and have a good time with it, it's cool because then I can just, I don't know, showcase my feelings, I guess, or try to show them my state of mind that I have, you know? And yeah, but I do have to say, there comes a point where, like especially earlier this year, I had like a little bit of a mini crisis where I had quite a few clients, all with different, I guess, personas inside of my head. And it gets to a point where if you have too many, you start to have like some sort of
like a schizophrenia
attack. Exactly. Well, all of a sudden, you know, one tone of voice starts changing over to the other client's tone of voice. And
yeah, because they're always like having different personalities, right?
And pretty much. And like, I've got this one client that I just started working with. There's this awesome Polish game called Inkulinati.
All right.
They're awesome. It's like this turn-based strategy. And it's all with like hand-drawn animal battles happening on these manuscripts. So they took like medieval manuscripts, and they saw that there's in these margins all these crazy paintings of like rabbits fighting dogs, donkeys playing trumpets with their butts, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make a game out of this." So when I saw this game, I was like, "Wow, wicked! I would love to play this. I would love to promote this." So I'm working on this now. And creating a persona for social media is so much easier because I was already, you know what, I'm going to create this persona of this like a jester living in a castle. Like a servant to the king, you know, and like that's the sort of things I would get inspired by, you know.
Well, it's literally storytelling. I mean, you
pretty much,
you have to tell a story to. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, so it's cool, and like I have, you know, these like Sir Robin, they published an article about you, you know, and you're like, you know, what the Sphinx PC Gamer says about you, it's impeccable once again, sir, you know, and like, and I'm just writing these things down, and it's a cool release.
But it's cool because I see a lot of companies. It's so different from the energy of the product with the energy of what they do in social media. I mean. If you think of Wendy's, for example, Wendy's is, I love Wendy's. I love eating burgers there. But their social media is a complete different animal. I mean, Wendy's is a mean bastard in social media. But it's great. I mean, I love following Wendy's. Or, I don't know, Moon Pie. The same thing. It's such a small, silly, common product. But suddenly social media takes over and then it has a strong voice that makes a whole difference.
It is. Like, I think Wendy's are awesome. And just seeing how many other companies are trying to replicate Wendy's character. I mean, it's only Wendy's can tell someone to fuck off on Twitter, you know? Like, all the other people, you're just copying, you know? But it's really great. And I was like, this tweet from Netflix a couple of days ago, last week, I'm not too sure. But it was this big, huge sort of tweet. And all these other companies started getting on board and they were replying to it. And I just kind of was looking at Twitter and I was like, wow, Twitter's becoming like this reality TV show where, you know, Warsaw Shore, Jersey Shore, but instead of like buff guys and like dolled up girls, you got brands competing for like your love and attention.
I found that crazy, like the way that the brands were relating to a Netflix question is, and it, which is, I mean, who can take it to the next level? And
Yes.
it became a competition.
Yes, and also, but all moments where I think some companies took it a little bit too far. I'm not gonna say, you know, because it's easy to criticize, you know, but we all have our moments of weakness. Yeah, so I guess they took it a little bit too far, and then feelings got hurt. Some people took their comments as a offensive gesture towards certain, perhaps, I don't know, certain groups of people or minorities. So yeah, I think it's a very fine balancing act, but please don't copy Wendy's. They're the only ones, they're the originals, you know, try to find your own voice.
They can do it, yeah, but I mean, it's easy to choose something very shocking to say or shocking to do in social or marketing in general. But why do you think people end up staying with the natural voice, with the honest voice? Why you think is more important for customers to, you know what, yeah, well, that was funny, that was, I mean, off the chart, whatever, but no, I'm staying with this guy because this guy is like, it's like me. I don't know. It's like, and that's one of the questions I wanted to talk to you is why you think people end up following a voice like yours, for example, instead of Wendy's?
Well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe people that, you know, follow my voice also follow Wendy's at the same time. I think it's just, once again, I guess it comes back to the product and like, I don't know, trying to create a state of mind with your communication. Like, I mean, like, I think it's fun, you know, being, you know, edgy and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm an edgy man. So, you know, I might have some edginess, but not that much, you know. So I guess I feel comfortable with my voices.
But do you think people can read or people can see that you're not being... So if you start making edgy jokes, people will like, yeah, that's not big.
I think, yes. I think, and you know what? I think people can tell straight away if you're being honest or if you're being false. If you're trying to be something you're not, that you're not, I think people can see right through it. I think we as human beings, we're pretty good at picking out, I don't know, like if someone told you in a compliment that wasn't genuine, you would pick that up straight away, I reckon. And I think
you look pretty.
Exactly. That shirt does look good. Yeah. I think, you know, you can tell it straight away, and I think people can tell the same thing as well through their brand. Like if there's a branded content and it's trying to, I don't know, being edgy or it's trying to create a voice, they can see, you know, I can see you're trying something but it's not working out. I guess the other thing is you got to kind of persist with the voice too. So maybe if it doesn't work out once or twice, you go, no, I really want to remain and I want to be that edgy guy or I want to be that asshole guy, even though I'm not. I think with perseverance, you might get there and you might develop your own style or version of it. But I don't know, like I feel if you run a business or if you run social media, like get to know the product, you know, what it is, and just say honestly what's on your mind and create a voice that you resonate with, because if you resonate with it, you'll create things that people will resonate with people as well. Feel it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Just to start closing our chat today, just one more question. Like the video game industry is being growing billions and billions of dollars every year.
Yes.
Marketing wise, so how do you see the future of marketing in video game? How things are going to evolve?
I think there's, well, I start seeing some changes now. I definitely see, like say a few years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago, there was like pretty much only 2 major social media networks. So just going back on the social front, Facebook, Twitter. Now I see there's a lot more things coming out. So, you know, Instagram, my personal favorite, Reddit. There's TikTok, which I haven't checked out yet.
I was hoping you're going to mention TikTok.
Yeah. And YouTube and LinkedIn as well. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's like, I don't know, back in the 50s when TVs that first started, you might have had maybe 2 channels, you know, channel 1 and channel 2. That was your only choices of getting content. But now, you know, 6 years ago, you had Facebook, Twitter, pretty much the only 2 big social media networks that you would get content. But now I got so much choice from so many different social media networks. And each social media network is a beast of its own, where it has its own rules and
Yeah.
own
Algorithms.
and also just vibes and feelings. Like the things you would say on, on Instagram, if you started saying stuff on Twitter, you would be destroyed there. Same with Reddit, that's got its own little life and personality, which I reckon is awesome. And I think it's going to be the one that's going to grow a lot. So yeah, I think there's this whole fragmentation of where people get content from. I also think the traditional ways of for example, press, they might not be as good as what they were in terms of people looking for press or for websites to get information. I think there's a lot of different places where info comes through. So once again, social media, I think is great. I also feel that although we're becoming digital and everything is digital and, everything's online, I feel events and physical places still matter. And it's really cool because the one thing I've started seeing in gaming is there's this real crossover between events and digital and storefronts. So just to give you an idea, one of the biggest storefronts for video games is Steam. So if you're a PC player and you buy games, 99.9%
it's going to be Steam.
You're going to buy it on Steam. There was this one video game event in Berlin called EGX Berlin, and it was going on for a couple of days. And usually when we do events for games, it's okay, press are going to be there, so we need to invite journalists. Then there's going to be influencers, YouTubers, so we've got to please them as well. And of course people, so we'll be on the floor playing with gamers, so we'll make them sign up for newsletters, follow us on socials and that sort of thing. And that was your channels, your marketing loop, this is what you get out of an event. But then all of a sudden this event, what they did is they actually had a major feature on Steam itself for a couple of days. And that actually just blew my mind away because, you got gamers buying games the whole time, 24/7 pretty much on that storefront. And all of a sudden there's this huge banner saying, hey, EGX Berlin is happening right now. You click on it and there's a list of all these games that are showing there. And you can click on those games and they take you to the Steam store page where you can add that game to your wish list. And I'm like, wow, this is ridiculous. And just to give you an example, a top tier website wrote about a game that I'm working on, not mentioning names or websites. Top tier website wrote about a game I'm working on, gave us about 300 wish lists to our game.
Oh, wow.
That event over 2 days gave us 2,500 just from that placement on that store page.
And you would think that physical events, they're not as hot anymore, but
exactly.
Maybe it's a combination. It's you're mixing real with digital and making new things happen.
Yes, and that's crazy for me. And all of a sudden, when I saw that, I was like, wow. So I had to put in so much effort to get a top tier website to write about me, and I just went to this event that cost me, I don't know, maybe 400 euros, not even that, and it did nearly 10 times as much as that one article.
Well, it's like you said in the beginning, just in this business you keep learning every day.
Exactly, so you learn little tips and tricks and such. But yeah, I do feel that being able to bring people together in the physical space, I think if brands can figure out, and well, that's something I'm going to pass on to my clients, is trying to get more into the physical space. I think this could be a beautiful thing.
Nice.
There's nothing beats a human relationship,
It's human to human after all. That's what marketing is, right?
Exactly.
My final question. What's your favorite game of 2019?
Of 2019? Crazy question to ask. I don't know. I got a couple.
Pick one, because we have 1 minute left.
Okay, can I give you of the last decade?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, last decade is easy. It came out last year, Persona 5 on PlayStation 4. Please play it.
I knew you were going to go for Persona. I'm a Goose Game guy.
Hey, nice.
Goose Game is pretty cool. This is driving me nuts now.
I'm going to be playing it as soon as it goes on the Game Pass. So
All right.
I can't wait to play it.
All right, Michal. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's always
problem.
nice to have you. Hopefully, we're going to have you again in the show.
Sure. Hope it was of some use.
Yeah, man. Thank you for all your insight. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And we hope to have you next time. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
We really want to hear from you. So make sure you leave a comment in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Incoming chat.